Hello everyone, welcome to R&B Reviews. We're your usual hosts. I'm Rob.
I'm Brendan.
And since Halloween 2 is coming out this weekend, we decided to compare and contrast the original 1978 Halloween with the remake by Rob Zombie that came out in 2007. And well, Brendan, after watching these two movies back to back, you can't help but compare and contrast them. Like, one thing, after watching these two films, I'm convinced there's two different types of horror fans. The first type is people like to use their imagination on how somebody's getting killed. Like in the first film, the first version, there's a shot of someone getting slit, but it's in a car and the windows are fogged up, and somebody's getting stabbed in the heart. But right before Michael Myers goes through the person's heart, it cuts to the feet and you don't see it. And the second type is the people that prefer to see the gory images, like seeing a half-naked chip getting stabbed and all that stuff. So I'm convinced there's two of that.
So John Carpenter's version more appeals to the sort of horror fans who like to leave a little more to the imagination, whereas Rob Zombie's is just hack and slash, no real suspense. Or at least that's what I found with it. Rob Zombie's version was there was no suspense to it. I mean, yeah, the original film is a masterpiece in my opinion, and knowing exactly who's gonna die and whatnot. But there was no suspense. You just sort of watch Michael Myers drift from place to place and kill this person and that person brutally, and it's not interesting. I think when you just sort of have a character walk up to someone, stab them, and have lots of loud music.
Well, there was some things from both versions that I liked, and some things from both versions I disliked. Like again, like I said, in the old film, it's more to your imagination. Like when Michael Myers is doing his very first stabbing, you don't actually see the victim getting stabbed because he's wearing a clown mask. And in the new film, you see all that. And I think that the old film might seem old-fashioned to some people and tame in comparison to the more bloody, gory horror films we have now. Because an example, Dracula from 1931, you didn't see killings and stuff. It was left to your imagination. Like one scene, for example, when Dracula's getting stabbed in the heart. You did not see that. You heard him groan in the other part of the room, but it was left to your imagination. And I think that's why I think there's like maybe two different types of fans for horror.
And with a film like that, it's more about creating an atmosphere and a surrounding world around the characters than it is just about the effects. I mean, I love horror movies. I'm a gore hound when it comes to movies. But I'm not blind when it comes to something like a remake or something like that, where they just throw in blood for the sake of blood. I mean, I think it has to have, if you're really going to go that far with the violence, it should have a little meaning to it and some weight to it, as opposed to just empty death.
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause, I mean, the first one is definitely more suspense, and the remake is more definitely horror, gore oriented. Here's what I didn't like about both films. With the original, I didn't think the day scenes were as scary as the night scenes. Like when Michael Myers is standing outside the school, I didn't think that was scary. In the remake, I loved the first hour with the backstory, like how he became the way he was.
I agree too,
because
you sort of forget you're even watching a Michael Myers movie, because you're just watching this little boy, sort of become consumed by his own dark infatuation with murder and death, and sort of the world he comes from. You're not surprised he turns out that way. And Rob Zombie, sort of dove into some child psychology in there, and I liked the story with him and Dr. Loomis. I thought, they were great together. And that first part of the movie and his mother and sort of seeing the after effects of him murdering his family.
Yeah, but what I didn't like about the remake was I felt the second hour, which is basically a abridged remake of the first film, it felt like a letdown when compared to the first hour, because I really liked how he figuring out how he became the way he became, with his dysfunctional family, his stepdad hates him, and all this stuff I liked from both films and stuff I didn't like from both films. So here's another thing I noticed with the babysitters. In the original, each babysitter has their own different personality. Like, you know, like Laurie's a plain Jane, and then there's a slut. In the remake, I feel like they're all the same. They had the same personality.
Yeah.
There's nothing to differentiate, at least with the original film.
And it feels like the words that are coming out of their mouths are like Rob. It's like words. It's something that Rob Zombie would be saying to his buddies.
Yeah, I have a teenage sister, as you know, and their friends come over all the time to our house. They don't talk like that. You know, I didn't find them believable. I found them annoying, and when Laurie is getting attacked later by Michael Myers, I felt no pity for her. At least in the original version, I felt some pity for her.
See, that's something that's not supposed to happen with horror movies, is you should not be rooting for the killer.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening with the Halloween remake, is you did not give a damn whether or not these girls lived or died because they were just annoying, and, you know, it was just like, yeah, alright, go ahead, kill them, fine.
Yeah.
It was very, you know, you didn't really get, you never really felt there was anything at stake.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just, I don't know, that's one of the reasons why I thought the second half of the movie fell apart, is because it was almost unbelievable. But what I did like about the second half is you got to know Laurie's parents. In the first film, they just disappeared. They're like, okay, we're going to go out to a party on Halloween, buying.
Yeah, they have like one line and then they walk off.
Yeah, in the remake, you got to know them a little bit, and you do kind of know in the first film that her dad is a real estate agent, and here you do, and I like that they were given a bigger part in the remake, but yeah, but like I said, it's just I felt like the girls were too much alike, and you know, and I didn't care really.
And one thing a lot of fans, you know, almost like a make or break thing when the Halloween remake was being done was who was going to be playing Dr. Loomis, and Malcolm McDowell does it in the remake, and he does a really good job in it, I think.
Both he and Donald Pleasance in the original film were great. I liked both of them. They both did a great job, definitely.
And, you know, sort of the hallmark of the Halloween franchise, you know, at least the first 6 movies in the installment, was Dr. Loomis, was Donald Pleasance, you know, in each film going after him and stuff. But I felt like I liked Dr. Loomis more in the original, because he was more of like the Van Helsing to Michael Myers' Dracula, sort of. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the remake, he just kind of feels like, I don't know, he's sort of like a doctor, and the first half you feel more connected with him, but when they switch over to the second half of the movie, he's just sort of like running around saying, Michael Myers is evil, watch out, and, you know, trying to warn people. It doesn't feel like he's really, like he sort of has the same responsibility Donald Pleasance did in the original.
Well, I slightly disagree with that. I think I really liked Malcolm McDowell's portrayal and all that running around and stuff. I could believe, because I mean, when Donald Pleasance did it, you know, a lot of people didn't believe him, and that was that. Here, I felt more police officers in the remake believed him more, and I think that really, I think that helped. Like, I kind of disagree with the statement that he's just running around and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, Donald Pleasance kind of ran around in the first one. Like, I remember there's a scene where he's warning the town, someone in town in a phone booth, you know, and that's that. But I mean, I think they gave him more to do in the remake than probably in the original.
Well, you know, with the remake, you got to see the backstory, how he became his doctor and everything, and